Everyone has regrets in their life, and I have a few that I've kept on my chest for a long time. And now that I'm choosing to be one with God and the Lord, um, I think it's time I share. I always let other people's opinions and influence on my personal self, like, affect who I am. And I would take their opinions to heart, and it would just end up making me feel worse. My heart's like a bottomless pit, and I would try to use other people's opinions to like fill that hole. And I always ended up deeper in that endless pit. And another thing I regret, and I wish I was strong enough to do it, but not telling my grandpa goodbye before he passed away of terminal cancer. He was in the hospital bed, dying, and I was too scared to see him. And I never got to tell him goodbye. He died the next morning. And I was 10. I wasn't older or super young. I was old enough to comprehend what was going on, and I was too scared. And now that I'm older, I can't imagine how scared and alone he was feeling. Another big regret I have is um suicide. I have attempted killing myself, and you know, being in that headspace is something I don't like talking about. And I feel uncomfortable speaking about it now. I just feel so ashamed that I got in that headspace. I felt so selfish for trying to take my own life when, some people don't even get a choice. Like, I wanted to donate my life to someone that wanted to live, and I didn't appreciate what I had, and I felt so selfish, and I felt like I couldn't do anything right. I never wanted to be like popular. I don't like using that term in school. I just wanted to be accepted. And to this day, I still struggle with feeling accepted. And I know that's like a basic thing to say. A lot of kids struggle with it, but it's a serious thing that can lead to like hanging myself. And it's the biggest regret in my life. Another regret I really do have that is still active in my life, not even days old, it re-sparked in my system, was my father has serious alcoholism issues, and he left me for alcohol, his only son. And it's been 4 years since I've talked to him, and I I keep trying to give him the benefit of the doubt and be graceful, and maybe he'll get better this time, or maybe he'll come back. And he, nothing changes. But I just crave that relationship with that man. And I know I'll never get it, but can't help but want it. The things I do for that man, and the lack of things he's done for me is crazy. And my last regret in my life is something that I choose not to talk about. And it's something I personally choose to do in my heart. Is that I choose to be alone rather than spending time with my friends or family. I don't do that. I choose to sit in my room, be alone, watch TV, draw, read, game. And I don't know why. I feel scared to ask people to hang out, or whenever people do ask me, I'm like, oh, I'm busy, or I got something going on. I feel so selfish for doing that. And I can't explain how I feel, like, truly. Like, I know in my heart that I want to be with people, but I choose to be alone. I struggle with derealization disorder, and it's a killer, man. Like, genuinely. It makes you feel like you aren't living your life and you're alone in this world. And I've been stuck in that headspace the past few weeks for many reasons, but I don't want to get too much into that. But something I do want to share is something I learned about our hearts. And choosing to dedicate my life into God has taught me to spread the gospel. So, this is a heart diagram that I made. what our heart does leads to consequences, right? But why does our heart do what it does? There's a system for it that we can sometimes see and then sometimes we don't see. And I'm going to explain it. What our heart does stems from how we feel. How we feel stems from how we think. Pretty basic, right? But that's the visible side of our heart. So where does the rest of it come in? So on the invisible parts of our heart that sometimes we as humans don't even recognize, and sometimes we choose not to recognize, is our commitments. Commitments can go into multiple different directions of what we as humans commit to. And not just commitments, like committing to an action. Like you in your head know you want to do this. If it's right or wrong, you're committing to it. That stems from doing. So our commitments go to our actions. And our actions also stem from feelings and thinking. But where do our commitments desire from? Our commitments come from our desires. Desires could be, something like you think you desire to be rich when you're older. But our desires is like a desire to be loved, to not feel alone, to have friends. And it majorly impacts everything in our hearts. And not just our hearts, but our lives. And coming on with that, where do our desires come from? And this is the most key portion of the heart. It's our values or our beliefs. We could choose to believe whatever we want, but whatever that belief ends up turning into becomes a desire. Your heart interprets that belief as something that it wants to keep, and as something valuable towards your heart. When I'm saying values, I don't mean gold or silver or anything. I'm talking about friendship, love, family, all these key things that come together to form how we think, process, and feel, and most importantly, do. But where do our beliefs and values come from? And that comes from the bottom of our heart. The bottom of our heart is that void every human on this planet has. It's empty, it's dark, and there's nothing there. It's just endless darkness. And we as humans want to feel complete. So we try to fill that bottom hole of our heart with money, friends, drugs, alcoholism. Anything to fill it. The only thing that can fill the void is God. And embracing your life is also another way to fill the void. If you are going to live your life not taking advantage of all the things God has given us and all the other things that not only God has done, but the way that our life has unfolded in front of us, if you can't recognize the good things that have happened, despite all of the bad, despite all of my regrets, not being able to say goodbye to my grandpa because I was too scared, or giving my dad chance after chance, even though he's never going to fucking change, or, trying to end my life, you have to find the good. You know, giving my father chance after chance, yeah, it was stupid. He's not going to change, and everyone recognizes it except me. But I still struggle with it, but it just makes me stronger and more resilient. And I can appreciate him for bringing me into this world, giving me a chance to experience something that maybe out of trillions of like cells that could have ended up being me, I got the chance to live this life. Or just out of the probability that I could die right now, I could have a stroke, I got to be here. Or never getting to see my grandpa again, never getting that chance to say goodbye to him. You're right, I won't be able to say goodbye to him. But I know he's watching above. And I know he's proud that I'm still here. And all the things that I have done to better me as a human being. From the darkest pits that I've been in, he's seen me crawl out of them. And now, knowing that he's gone, I know he can rest in peace. And he's not in pain anymore. And from trying to kill myself, you might think there is no good out of that. Like, trying to end your own life is just bad. Yeah, you're right. It is bad. And there is little to no good out of it. But I'm still here. And that's something that a lot of attemptees can't say that they have done because they're gone. Or the people that have survived attempts live in misery and think they're selfish and disgusted with themselves because they even tried doing something so bad. You have to keep going. You know, being go, go, go isn't good. Going all the time, no breaks. But when you're in a situation like that, you have to keep pushing. Push yourself for the better. Push yourself into therapy. Push yourself to talking to new people. Push yourself to opening up. And then you can start to cool down and enjoy the fruits of life. I have messed up a lot in this life. I have made a lot of mistakes in this life. But it's the choice of letting them hold you back is what truly defines you as a human being and a member of God. It's letting the remorse take hold of you. I still mourn over my dead grandfather or my missing father figure. But I don't let it control my life anymore. And coming out of this now, talking to this camera, I can understand that I'm proud. Not only of myself, but of you. And how far you have come. We probably don't have the same life, right? We don't have the same problems, but what we do have in common is that if you're seeing this, you're still here. And I'm proud of you. thank you for listening. And just know, as long as I am alive in this world, there is someone who will care about you. I love you guys. And spread the gospel.